Remember yesterday we were talking about this Huawei FedEx situation. Well, FedEx has kind of come back with a weird move here. FedEx is suing the U.S. government over Huawei confusion. Says it can't inspect every package for export violations. So FedEx isn't even happy about the situation. Of course, we covered this yesterday, how a P30 Pro trying to go from the UK to the US offices for PC Mag never made it, got sent back, and they were citing some sort of the issue relating to the ban instituted via the executive order in the US. But it was so vague. It was like, who made this call? Who's complying with what? Is FedEx making the call? Should FedEx be put on an entity list within China? That was the threat. There was like this thought that there might be retaliation against FedEx on the Chinese side, that maybe FedEx was doing some work on behalf of the U.S. government. Now you find out FedEx they're not even buying into it. Also, people were mad that we cited this Huawei Facts Twitter account. They're like, well, all of a sudden, this is propaganda now, what we're doing, because we cited this. It is a bad name, I think, for a Twitter handle, implying that nothing else is facts. This is the only place to get Huawei Facts. Right. It's a bit rude, in fact, but no, the reason we were citing this yesterday, because I thought it was odd that Huawei was using Twitter for these kinds of official claims. Is an odd place to put it. Was FedEx within its rights to prevent a P30 Pro? Like, that's something you're used to seeing on a news site's Twitter account. Not very common to see that coming from an official branded hardware company's account. So that's the reason we cited it. I'm not saying facts on one side or the other. I'm not telling you what your facts are. There's a lot of information you got to sift through. You got to get into the filing cabinets to get to the bottom of this situation, like a detective. I mean, I don't even know. Every day it's some next thing that's getting uncovered. So we're lucky. We got the crack team. We got Kirk on the ones and twos. We got Willie Doo with the red light. And, of course, we got Jack, who's got shorts on today. He looks more comfortable than anyone else here. So, I mean, and even us, we're just cracking open the filing cabinet.
Yep.
Although that would be fun to do. In reality, imagine investigating a case, get the file out.
Yeah.
With the paper clips. I think on this desk, I need a file with paper clips and like confidential on the outside. Dick Tracy. I loved Dick Tracy growing up. He had the watch. He had the first smartwatch. And you had the Tommy gun, the live action movie. He was on Skype on the watch before anyone else. Never mind FaceTime. The yellow jacket. I mean, unbelievable. He was the gadget guy. I loved any fictional character who was the gadget guy. I think it's why I loved Batman, right? Dick Tracy was in the same space. I don't have to tell you about Inspector Gadget, even though he was a goof, obviously. I was kind of endearing because of it, to be honest. But really, the genius in Inspector Gadget is, what's her name? Penny. Like, nothing gets done without Penny. But that was a theme. That was a trend amongst the cartoons of that era. Is like, it was this, the hero wasn't the one you expected to be the hero. Like, it was always. You remember we were talking about the Ninja Turtles the other day? How it's like the leader and Raphael, and then it's like somebody had to talk him down. It was always, Anyway, I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. Inspector Gadget. Early days, Lou. That's all you need to know. I just realized something, though. He's got a similar coat to Dick Tracy, which therefore showcases to be into gadgets, you got to have a coat like that. So who knows what I'm looking like tomorrow, Will. I don't know. Maybe I got to pick one of those up. Anyhow, FedEx, they're backing off the whole thing. They're like, we're not with anybody here. Like, get off our back. Geez, this is difficult. You're putting us in a weird spot. They're going to sue the U.S. government. They don't want to be inspecting this package. They just want to ship stuff. At least that's the way it sounds based on the reports that came out today. FedEx filed a lawsuit against the U.S. Department of Commerce on Monday over restrictions that the Trump regime has put in place against the Chinese telecom giant Huawei. FedEx, which has gotten into trouble with Huawei for misdirecting some of the tech company's packages lately, says it shouldn't have to make sure that newly prohibited technology doesn't get shipped to Huawei offices. So the story that we reported on wasn't the only one. There was also like weird stuff that was supposed to go from point A to B, and it was making a stopover in the US to be inspected, and they were mad about that too. And again, FedEx making a claim that they were being instructed to do this based on that original order that came all the way from Trump administration. So FedEx is like, don't put us on blast. Don't put us in the middle. That's what this seems to indicate to me. They're saying we're not just out here going to accept this order that's been put in place, even though it's coming from the highest level. They just want to deliver these things. And it's probably a big headache for them, all this press coming out about their unwillingness to do so. You think about it, Will, you're a shipping company. You want to be known for getting packages where they're supposed to go. Mm-hmm. You don't want to be known for sending things to alternative destinations. You don't want to be known for stopping things. You don't want to be known for return to sender. That's a bad look. Rerouting things to places they weren't intended to. It's a bad look. Mm-hmm. Will, you want people to know if they send something with you, it's getting to where it's going, regardless of what the product says on it. So long as it's not a completely illegal substance.
Right.
Is that a Castaway reference with the FedEx ads in Castaway? It's a little much. It was some early product placement. It was heavy. I still remember it to this day. I can't think about that movie without thinking about the FedEx symbol. I have nightmares.
Yeah.
So, but can you blame him? I mean, everyone was doing it. Kirk was showing off the Pacino clip yesterday, trying to mess me up, trying to give me nightmares on that one. The Pacino Dunkachino, which was from a movie, and it was a very bizarre product placement. There's not much you can do about it. But anyway, what does this showcase? I guess it showcases that companies are willing to take a stand against the U.S. Commerce Department. FedEx now, probably the most high profile at this point, that's kind of saying, hey, I don't know. We're not necessarily with it. We're not necessarily for it. Now you start to wonder if you get enough on that list, if Google does the same thing or Microsoft or whoever else, is that enough force to potentially change things? Probably not at the exact moment, but it's an indication of a sentiment that might not be as nationalistic on the U.S. side as you might expect. You may have expected, depending on where you line up politically, you may expect FedEx to say, yeah, damn right, that's what we're doing. You're not going to get your package in here, Huawei, but that's not what they're saying. They're saying, hey, we're a global brand, and we don't want to be known for this. We don't want to bear the brunt of this. We're sick of this bad press. That's the angle they're taking. FedEx said in a statement Monday that the U.S. Export Administration regulations violate common carriers' rights by making delivery companies liable for shipments that may violate U.S. restrictions. FedEx is a transportation company, not a law enforcement agency. Willie Do highlighted that aspect. He highlighted that quote. He went to CNN Business. He highlighted that quote. You see that? All right, so
I'm curious where UPS stands, or like DHL.
I'm sure they're going to be the same. I'm sure if you are a transportation company, as they state in this quote right here, you want to get your packages where they're going. It's your utmost. It's your product. Yeah. You want to be known for it. You want to be known for speed, convenience. It's competitive like any other marketplace. Yeah. You have multiple ways to choose to send your stuff. If you get a rap for, confiscating products or sending them back, especially time-dependent stuff, couldn't be a worse look for your company. Mm-hmm. So I would guess that the rest of them would line up the same way. And I think it's I think it's like I said earlier, I think it's an indication that not everyone is fully on board with this situation as it stands right now. And it's hard to figure out who's responsible. Like they're saying, hey, we're not a law enforcement agency. We're like, geez, man, we got to keep track of all this stuff. We got to open every package. Right. Think about it. How are you supposed to know? What are you gonna do? It's a major headache in that sense. Now I get it. If there's I'm sure it happens all the time. They get mysterious packages, things they think might actually be dangerous. Dangerous in the immediate sense, not in the like espionage long-term Trump sense, but like in the immediate sense, dangerous. And they got enough work on their plate to try to sift through that stuff. Same with the Postal Service. So they're just like, hey, we can't be responsible for this one as well. And I think that's reasonable. We'll see what happens with the lawsuit. We'll keep people updated on it. But that's where it stands at the moment. So maybe you were thinking one thing about FedEx and it turns out to be the other. In that yesterday we're saying FedEx refusing to move these packages, taking the heat for it, and now flipping the script and saying, hey, it ain't us. We don't even want to do this. Not only do we not want to do this, but we're going to sue the U.S. on behalf of it.
Mm-hmm.